Okay, hey. So something I didn't point out last time is that normally whenever any probability is talked about, there's hidden background information or background knowledge that we're conditionalizing on. So what do I mean by that? So last time I distinguished between probability of H, which is typically called, and I didn't write this down last time, it's typically called an unconditional probability. Okay, unconditional probability. And then there's probability of H given E, and that's going to be your conditional probability. All right. Now, in fact, a lot of what we might think is an unconditional probability is actually a hidden conditional probability. So here is an example. I have a coin here, and I flip it. Okay, now I'm not going to show you this, but for y'all, what's the probability that it's heads? So we can imagine H being the proposition that it's heads, right? What's the probability that it's heads? A lot of you would want to say 50% or one half. Okay? Now, is that really an unconditional probability? Well, in our text and what Mike Rhoda says is, in fact, we're really conditionalizing on a lot of stuff. Because we have a lot of background information, uh, like we're assuming that the coin is a fair coin. Um, we're assuming knowledge of what coins are, that it's fair, that there's only a heads and a tails. That we're also background knowledge. Gravity is going to hold in the next, when I flip the coin. Um, uh, so there's a lot of things where we just assume as our background knowledge. So really, the probability that it's a heads is one half. It looks like a unconditional probability, but really we should think of it as probability H given K equals one half, where K just is all our background knowledge about coins, how gravity works, how coins typically tend to be fair, and so on. Um, so, and really, when we're talking about probability H given E, okay, Rhoda notes, we can really think of it as the probability H given E and K equals. And then so whenever there's a typical conditional probability, like last time we talked about what's the probability that's an ace of spades given that it's a spades, uh, it really should be what's the probability that it's an ace of spades given that it's a spades, and all this background information about cards and their colors and how many cards tend to be in a deck and so on. And that's going to be your H given E and K. So that's a value of background knowledge. So typically for any probability we write down, you could always any unconditional probability you could add given k, and for any conditional probability you could add to the right side h given e and k. Now Rhoda is the author of our text is always careful to add the and k's. I'm gonna for the most part ignore that, just because when you add all the k's it actually makes it harder to read, and it makes it a little bit harder to follow. So you can always imagine a given k for any of the unconditional probabilities and an and k for the conditional probabilities. Okay, so simple lesson. Let's keep moving on.